Hey friends, it's Jen, and today we're talking with God about His steadfast love for us in the morning. And I'm recording this episode for us today because I especially need this specific message. I am not a morning person, and I enjoy sleeping. If I had to choose between sleeping and eating, more often than not, I would choose sleeping. And I don't always wake up in the very best mood. It's something that I'm working on currently. I'm also working on being a morning person because when I get up before my boys do in the morning, I'm just more of the mom that I want to be. I'm able to engage in my morning from a much better place. And so I was thinking about this and talking with God about it in this series that we're in, looking at His steadfast love. And I'm going to read for us a few verses from Lamentations chapter 3. It says, "The steadfast love of the Lord never ceases. His mercies never come to an end. They are new every morning. Great is your faithfulness. The Lord is my portion, says my soul. Therefore I will hope in Him." When I get up in the morning and I drag myself out of bed and I reach for that morning cup of coffee, my first thought is not, "Oh, I'm so grateful. Oh, the steadfast love of the Lord never ceases." Whatever thoughts are starting to ramble around in my head go toward the things that I need to get done. I tend to jump into action to move forward with executing and not necessarily as much reflection. I'm not naturally a morning person. And so I'm reorienting myself to approach my mornings differently with the hopes of making them more enjoyable and making it easier for me to wake up without snoozing my alarm a dozen or so times because I'm dreading getting out of bed. And one of the things that excites me about this verse is that every morning I can reflect afresh on the steadfast love of the Lord, that it never ceases. I could never use it all up or run out of God's loyal love for me. And in the same way, you can never use up or run out of God's loyal love for you. Now, maybe mornings aren't your problem. Maybe you love mornings. Maybe it's finishing the day strong or looking back over the day and recognizing God's steadfast love. Maybe you're in a season with a different sleep schedule. So recognizing God's steadfast love happens when you wake up for baby feedings or when you get up or go to bed before or after the night shift. I don't know what the circumstances are for you, but I do know that in light of God's steadfast love, we can place our hope in Him. I want to read one more passage for us today, and it's from Psalm 143, verses 7 through 10. And this is a psalm of David. It's titled, "My Soul Thirsts for You." And the psalm begins in verse 1 that says, "Hear my prayer, O Lord. Give ear to my pleas for mercy. In your faithfulness, answer me in your righteousness." And the psalm continues where David is asking God to answer him. It says, "Answer me quickly, O Lord. My spirit fails. Hide not your face from me, lest I be like those who go down to the pit. Let me hear in the morning of your steadfast love, for in you I trust. Make me know the way I should go, for to you I lift up my soul. Deliver me from my enemies, O Lord. I have fled to you for refuge. Teach me to do your will, for you are my God. Let your good spirit lead me on level ground." I'm guessing you picked up that part in verse 8 where it says, "Let me hear in the morning of your steadfast love." We know that God's steadfast love never ceases, that His mercies are new for us every morning, that His faithfulness is great. We can know that, but not always notice God's steadfast love. And so I love what David says here in verse 8, "Let me hear in the morning of your steadfast love." And I am taking that prayer as my own when I'm entering into a moment where I can be aware of God's steadfast love. I want to hear of it because I place my trust in Him. I ask Him to show me the way that I should go. I ask Him to teach me His will and to let His good spirit lead me on level ground. So we're bringing that prayer to Him today. Even right now, you are hearing of God's steadfast love. But we don't have to stop short of engaging with God in that conversation. We can turn to God and ask Him to tell us of His steadfast love because it never ceases, because it is new in the morning. And so our question to ask God today is simple. God, what do you want to tell me about your steadfast love for me? Have a good talk.